you can still technically get prosecuted, but if, like, you don't show a consistent record of being, say, 30 years old and going after minors, that's a completely different story. That is what a predator is.
Well, it also has to be consensual.
Exactly, but you get my point. The age difference makes all of the difference. A 3-year difference is not significant. The point is that what the Romeo and Juliet law allows is that for somebody like in this case, in Kate's case, if she, heaven forbid, she actually does get convicted, and it goes on her record and everything, she goes through whatever the court tells her she has to go through as a result of it, she can, under the law, say, I'm going to invoke Romeo and Juliet law, and she will not have to register as a sex offender, which, by the way, if she does end up having to do that, however, it will completely wreck her life entirely.
I know. That's my point. Absolutely.
And she still has to do 15 years in jail. I mean, in prison, so where's the justice or whatever? It doesn't, the Romeo and Juliet law is, the only thing it does is she would still have to, her parents would still have to pay more money, they'd still have to fight, they'd be caught up in court battles to get that to go through, and she would still be sitting in prison or whatever, and she would, for a freaking high school flame, it's stupid, because to me it's stupid, because the only thing that it does is it just expunges you from having to be a registered sexual offender, which is huge, I know, but when you're talking about the severity of what she's facing, to me it's just it doesn't even come close to cutting it.
And the entire goal, however, of this movement is to just get all of these charges tossed out of court to begin with. I mean, this is ludicrous, and it shouldn't even be a case. I mean, that's like saying,
and we're wasting money on this. I mean, it's
exactly.
Totally pissing me off when there's rape cases that, somebody very close to me in my family was raped recently in college, and you know what? We can't even prosecute him because they've made it so hard for her to come forward and to prove it. It's like, it's unbelievable, and he's out there.
The burden of proof is on the victim. The burden of proof is on the victim instead of on the burden of proof is on the victim instead of on the perpetrator. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Right.
What about what was I going to say? So my question about this case, though, is in terms of what is deemed, is it deemed inappropriate sexual conduct or that she's had with her because she's over age or whatever, or is it because, is it intercourse? What is it specifically legally, do you know, that makes her guilty?
I don't know the person personally, but what I have heard, this is from what I've read, and I'm just going, all of my facts are from official sources, ergo her parents, and family. So the information that I have, as far as I know, mostly involved PDA. I don't know if they actually, did it. Wait, nudge. I don't know if they actually did, but as far as I've gleaned, it seems to be mostly PDA. Kissing, holding hands.
It's not illegal to be gay. It's not illegal to be gay. So if they're gay, and that's why they're going after them, that's wrong. But I'm saying, what did they do?
The younger one's parents are going after her for going after the both of them for being gay.
Right. I know.
Age is just a convenience.
I believe it's for lewd. What is it? Lewd and lascivious acts under a person between 12 and 16. I think there's 2 counts to it. Kelly had put in her letter that there was one encounter between the girls, and that they did get Kate to confess. Whenever they brought the 15-year-old down to the police station, they wired her or whatever they did, and they had her call on a secured line, and they taped the phone conversation, and they coerced her to get Kelly to get Kate to admit stuff.
Well, my question is, did they have a warrant for this? Because doesn't her parents have to know about the warrant?
I don't know. Maybe that's why they waited until they were 18. Maybe that's all part of it too. It sounds to me like the parents were pretty locked and loaded, like they knew what they were doing. They had their agenda set up.
Absolutely.
They were getting in a row.
Local police can't pull the Patriot Act on us for that one. Only the federal government can. And that's a completely different can of worms, however. So, no, local police still have to have a warrant to do that anyway. So if that's their case and that's what they're going to use in court, if they didn't have a warrant, you better make sure the defense attorney knows to inquire about that. And because if they don't have a warrant, that can't be used in court, which means they won't have a case.
Well, and also she was, as they said in the letter I read earlier, that she was there without any representation from an attorney or anything like that.
Which also is illegal.
Right. So, I mean,
unless she personally
unless
waived
she
that
said
right.
no. Exactly, unless she said no. So that's the only thing. I don't know, maybe she did. But either way, it's wrong. But I don't know. What do you think is going to happen? I mean, do you know if she's actually out of jail now, right? I mean, she's not in jail. She was just booked and then let go, or what happened? Do you know?
She was bailed out. Yeah,
she was bailed out. Okay.
She has no prior record. She's like a 3.5 GPA. I mean, the kid is like an angel,
wow.
And so they let her go on her own accord. I mean, the judge even ruled that she wasn't a threat to the girl and let her stay in school. It was the parents who pushed after two judges, just like Richard said earlier, they pushed through two court rulings by judges. The school board overturned it.
It sounds to me like it's all about.
Parents are pissed.
It's all about the parents.
You can call me a nut for saying this, but I smell something fishy about this, because it's like, the way I see it is, from what I understand, the two judges already said she is not a threat. She can go back to school and she can finish up and she can do what she needs to do. She's not a threat.
How does the school board override that? That's what I don't.
The parents went to the school board to override that. Which, by the way, since when does the school board's ruling overrule those two judges?
That's bizarre to me. Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense at all.
Doesn't the court have more power than that?
Yes, of course they do.
I thought the judge had went.
I wish we had an attorney to talk to us about this, but I don't. I'm not
the
Behar show, but anyway.
Because then technically they can go back to the parents and say, well, we're gonna try you for we're gonna take you for contempt of court because you kind of defied the judge here.
I think
that's 2 counts.
Yeah, I hope that she gets good representation or has good representation. I know it's going to cost a lot of money, and I hope that people will contribute to their cause. But there is actually, those of you listening, there is actually a petition for. Is it a petition or is it a? Yeah, there's a petition at www.change.org/freekate. So if you go there and sign that petition, that would be great. Also, if you would like to help the family with their legal fees, you can go to GoFundMe, GoFundMe.com/2YZ5T as in Tom S, and donate money there. Yeah, if you can put that in there, that'd be great. So hopefully something will happen in this case, that things will turn out the way they're supposed to, which means that she will be let go free, and she will not have to endure a lifetime of being called a sexual predator for, as Erica said, something she had like a fling in high school. It's so ridiculous. So I hope people will hear this cause and do something about it. Gonna take a quick break, come back. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, well, if they're going to convict her, and they're gonna ruin her life over a fling, a high school sweetheart fling that she had that happened to be 3 years apart, and she just so happened to have recently turned 18, and oh my God, she's a predator now. Okay, you might as well go and make an inquisition through that whole school and root out everybody doing the same damn thing.
Hello,
I don't see them doing that.
When I was her age, I was dating guys who were older than me, who were over the age of 18, and vice versa. They weren't sexual predators. It wasn't anything like that at all. And people in my own school that I dated who aged out and became 18 years old, so they weren't sexual predators either. So it's ridiculous, because why is 18 the magic number anyway? I want to know that.
I don't know either. I mean, the way I see it, though,
have you met 18-year-olds today? Have you met 18-year-olds today? They're like they're 15. Okay, I have got 2 of them. They're like they're 15.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's like saying though that I should have been busted. I should have been busted as a senior because I was seeing someone who was 16. I was seeing a girl who was 16 when I was a senior.
But you know how many people in this world would be persecuted or prosecuted, for doing the same thing? Nothing wrong has happened here. It has been consensual. They are of the same peer group, but we keep saying that over and over again. Nothing wrong has happened. And everybody, most people anyway, have dated people a little older than themselves, a little younger, and especially when you're 18, 17, 16, that age group, you're all in the same kind of area. So it doesn't make any sense that this is happening to her, and I hope to God that she gets off of any charges, because she doesn't deserve it. So I'm going to take a quick break. If you guys want to stay on, please do, and we'll talk about this some more. Be right back. Okay, so we are back talking about the Kaitlyn Hunt story. If you guys want to call in, the number is 323-843-6160. Feel free to call in anytime during the rest of the show tonight. I'm going to bring back Erica and Richard on the phone just 1 second. But first I wanted to mention or read a quick little paragraph story about a guy here in Dallas who was prosecuted for doing something similar. But it says, I'll read this to you just so you can kind of hear what the backstory is. But a new state law set to take effect in September made it legal for anyone who is at least 15 years old to have sex with someone up to 4 years older in Texas. This is in Texas. We'll get to Florida in a second. The legislation, called the Romeo and Juliet Bill, aims to protect young people engaging in consensual sex from winding up on the sex offender registry. Austin, a 28-year-old who spoke on condition of anonymity, said his life changed drastically after police learned he had had sex with 2 underage girlfriends during high school. He says, I was a senior in high school and I was 18, and they were both sophomores. On his attorney's advice, Austin agreed to 10 years probation and sex offender status. He said at the time, it's not that big of a deal. It won't be that hard. That turned out to be far from the truth, he said. He said, it wasn't until I started losing jobs that it started to sink in just how serious this was. Austin said he gained more than 100 pounds and struggled with depression because of the new label he carried. It's hell, he said. You are the worst person walking on the earth. And the new bill passed by the state Senate and the House is giving him hope. The law will make it legal for anyone at least 15 years old to have sex with someone up to 4 years older. So this is, just one small example of how this can ruin people's lives, and there's stories far worse than this, of course. And so this is what we're talking about with this case, and why it is unfair for someone who is engaged in a consensual relationship with someone in the same peer group, same age range, whatever, high school, whatever, to have to endure this. So just wanted to read that to you guys. So do you guys know, so you said in Florida they have the Romeo and Juliet law, but it says, I was reading about Florida, it says the age of consent in Florida is 18. And it says the minimum age of a victim is 16 years old. I guess that means what? That means that they have to at least be 16 years old for them to be able to bring charges against the person. So every state's different, and like there's some states where it's 14 years old, so it's really weird. But do you know in Florida? Do you live in Florida, Erica, or what?
I do.
You do?
I'm in Sarasota. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so are you? And do you feel that Florida? Do you feel Florida is more? I don't know how I say this. I live in Texas. First, I want to say I live in Texas, which is a very, very conservative state, and I'm not conservative at all, but I live here. And so Florida is also, in my assessment, a very conservative state. So do you think that this has to do with what's happening to Kate? I mean, it's really partially bigotry. Don't you agree that this is about that as well?
Oh, absolutely. Environment is everything. I mean, you learn that in sociology class, in college. I mean, your environment is everything. So, yeah, and we're there. I like I said, I grew up, my husband's in the background saying a bunch of hillbillies is what they are. I grew up in that area in Brevard County, which is right there by where they are, and literally, I think it's like the next county over or whatever. And I think during certain issues have gotten more accepting, like gay rights is more accepting, but I think overall we're definitely a more conservative state for sure. And there was big Romney supporters, so that that says a lot too. And I think that where she's at is wealthier too, and where you have wealthy, you've got people who usually are more conservative because they're conservative about their money and they want to know where their money goes. So so you got politics. You can't say that politics doesn't play a role in this. It does. You can't say if she was in Colorado, this. So that's why it's awesome that she's getting support from everywhere else too. It's just pouring in because she's kind of getting taken out of her environment, saying, hey, there's a bigger world than where you're at in Sebastian or Vera.
Right.
And we love you and we're supporting you, and this isn't right. So.
Right, and Richard, what do you think? Do you think environment plays a part as well? Obviously.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it does. Now, how it is though is Florida seems to reek of conservatism in all the wrong places, but fortunately, at least in my area, there is a healthy balance of liberalism as well. I mean, for one thing,